Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Pat Healy, thank you very much for joining me. You're thrown down on the 10th of June. Now, I love this matchup though, Pat, I really do. Cavalcante, he is a guy who's been around for a while. He's fought some great organisations, had some great fights. He's a guy that for you, I think, must have excited you though, because you know he's going to be game for us. He's not going to be the kind of guy who's going to be backing off or trying to be kind of too technical. He'll be just wanting to get in front of your face just as much as you will with him.
Absolutely, man. As soon as they told me that this fight was happening, I was super excited. I mean, I've watched JZ for years. You know, we've been in the same organization. I always thought we'd fight in Strikeforce or something, but it never ended up that way. And, he was like the number one ranked fighter in the world at 155 or 145, I can't remember at one point. So, I mean, it's pretty cool to fight a guy who, and like you said, I know he's going to throw down. Like, trying to stick and move, and he's coming to fight, and, it'll be a fun fight, and I think we match up well for an exciting fight.
I do. As soon as Jeff Arnson told me about it when we had him on, and I was just smiling from ear to ear when he told me about that fight. I went, I know what's going to go down with that. I know that's going to be a fight worth watching. Only thing I was disappointed with Jeff is it's on the 10th of June, and I can't watch it live. I'm away. I go away that day because I'm going away with the army for 2 weeks, doing some training exercises and stuff. So I told Jeff we're going to have to sit down and work out the rest of the year to make sure it doesn't clash.
Yeah. If they did it on the 9th, that'd be a Thursday. I don't know if that would be the best for anybody else, but it'd work out for you.
It works out for me, that's all that matters. Fuck 'em. Look, your last fight, you just literally implemented your game plan. The only time it became potentially sticky was it was the leg lock situations, the pair of you were in. Looked like a pair of pretzels, it was... Did he ever have anything on you when he was going for the heel hooks? For me, it looked like your knee wasn't... You didn't have control of your knee, so you were able to move your leg a sufficient angle to take any pressure off. But was there any time where you were thinking this is a bit tight?
No, it was never tight. I have one good leg lock that I get on a lot of people. It's transition to an inside heel hook.
Yep. And
I thought for sure I would get it on him when he went for my leg. And I don't know if it was the flexibility in his feet, but I could not. It was strange. Because I get that heel hook. I mean, every time I train, almost. Yeah. Anytime somebody goes for a leg, I've been lucky enough to train with a lot of good leg lock guys, from the 10th Planet guys here in Portland to back when I was in the IFL with the Lions Den guys. They had awesome leg locks. That's one thing you could say about Ken Shamrock is, boy, if he gets hold of your leg, he's gonna rip it off.
Yeah, he is gonna rip. He's like the old school. He's like the original Paul Harez.
Definitely, man. Him even showing a heel hook or something on you, it was painful. And if he tapped out while he was showing it, he was so disgusted with you that it was just the worst feeling in the world. You just be in total pain, just like, you didn't want to tap because you didn't want to be, get the look of just disgust.
Oh man, that's Ken Shamrock. He was so old school and you just never get that these days. But that was the only thing about that. What I liked about that was the leg lock situation is a lot of guys who go into it, I found in fights where they freak out a bit because they don't like being there, because I don't think they drill it enough, and I love the leg lock game myself. I love it. If I get it down into that leg lock game, I will shoot down in half guard, 50-50 guard. I will leap all over that shit, because there's so much to do there. And like you say, you can get the inverted heel hook, and that's what a lot of people don't realize is when someone goes for a heel hook, unless they have their feet positioned right, because a lot of the guys like to put their leg over the hip to try and pin your hip down, and that ankle is just there for that reverse heel hook all day long, and a lot of people don't see it, but I love it. I love going for the legs. It's just more fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you see all the guys, and you watch it, the Eddie Bravo Invitational or something, or like Gary Tonin and all those guys from, what's his name, the really good Henzo Black Belt who's just churning out all those guys. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but Gary Tonin's main coach. But like, they're kind of like changing the game with leg locks. Like, there's something about them, like, you have to respect it. And everybody, like, the legs are a big part of your body, man. If you don't learn that stuff, and so many people do them wrong. I know I can usually get them because nobody control. You were saying earlier about controlling the knee. Like, if there's no pressure on your thigh and I can just shift my thigh or my knee from side to side, then I'm not only going to get out of your leg lock, but I'm probably going to leg lock you. Yeah. Because I can control your leg. And, it's a game that, you absolutely need to learn right now if you're in jiu-jitsu. And a lot of I love the gi, I love Brazilian jiu-jitsu. But, a lot of the old school guys just don't want that to be a part of MMA or grappling because they don't know it.
No, they don't. No. It was frowned upon, not even that long ago in jiu-jitsu. It was frowned upon when you go for the legs. They just didn't, I'd say, accept you doing leg locks. And it's kind of like, well, technically it's half your body, your legs. Why would you not go for something that's there? And it catches so many people out. For example, you can do a knee, you can ride the belly, do a knee ride, and there you go. That posture straight there, you have the option to switch over to the legs. And people, I find that fighters maybe don't use it as an opportunity, because you see in fights, guys very sloppy sometimes because they feel comfortable that the guy's not going to go for leg locks. And their legs are just kind of a bit wayward, or they're not always thinking about it. And I think that dude's leg's right there for the taking. But the problem is, like you say, it's controlling your opponent, because guys who are doing it, for example, I've seen they don't control the opponent because the guys can get up and arch over and start smashing him in the face. And I think you should be able to control that leg at the bottom, the one they're standing or using. You should be having a grip of that ankle and take it out from under them. I just don't understand why some guys aren't using that enough, or they're not turning onto the side more. Because a lot of guys try to lean back, don't they? I'm like, how can you arch your back into the ground? You can't arch it. You need to go on your side, arch it so you get more leverage. But a lot of guys don't do that stuff as well. It's, if people who are listening who don't know what that means, just watch just watch Gary Tonin. He's probably the man right now at the moment. You'll see it from what I mean there. It's the leg lock game is very specific to get it right, and if you get it wrong, it's going to be painful.
And and there's still, I'm pretty sure in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like, reaping the leg, like, coming over, initiating a leg lock is still illegal. I mean, it's pretty silly. I mean, it's a position, especially at the higher belts. Like, if you're a brown belt and somebody leg rapes you and you don't know what to do, and, like, you get injured, like, boy, that's on you, man. Like, you're not a brown belt then, or whatever, that just is something that needs to change, and, let's get over the Eddie Bravo stuff, and, let's let the grappling community come together.
I know, they should
let's accept it all.
Because the thing is, by accepting it all, you'll see much more of it, that people start to blend in, transition more, and link kind of submission grappling moves together, and it would just be more like catch wrestling with a bit of jiu-jitsu and 10th planet, put it all together, and it would just be a beautiful thing to watch, especially in a fight. If you can get somebody who can transition between all them three grappling kind of submission games, it will just, for their opponent, it's going to be a nightmare, and for you as a fighter, I think it gives you more of a skill set. It makes you more dangerous.
Absolutely. I mean, you're leaving a big piece of the game out of it if you don't learn leg locks. Especially right now with all the crazy innovation that's coming out on leg locks. You know, like now's the time to learn it. So in 2 years, you're not left out in the dust.
Yeah, you've got to keep evolving with the game. So look, we spoke before your training camp. How you broke your training camp down? Obviously, you're going off at the moment shortly to the ranch, as Donald Cerrone would call it. But how have you split your training camp up? What have you been doing for this one?
Well, I've been the gym I was at for a long time. It was Sports Lab, and then it was Rose City. Has now closed. So a lot of us who were there went to Gracie Bar of Portland, which is ran by Fabiano Scherner, an old Team Quest guy. That's where I know him. A very good black belt competing, at the highest level. So that's been a good switch. And, really right now, before I go to the ranch, I really focus on building an aerobic base. Like, I wear a heart rate monitor a lot of the time. I keep track of my heart rate. I don't want it to get above 150 beats a minute and get out of, like, aerobic capacity.
Yeah.
Because I want to build the biggest aerobic base I can. So when I fight, I'm not burning a bunch of, I'm not fighting anaerobically.
Yeah.
I'm fighting aerobically at a pace that I can keep constant the whole time. So really, that's what I've been doing at home, and focus on my diet. And my weight's really good right now. I've just been trying to get, and a lot. I'm sorry to just keep rambling, but
cool, bro.
I've been doing a lot of corrective, like strength training. It's gymnastics strength training.
Nice.
Because my body is so jacked up from so many years of fighting, and I'm so closed over like this.
Yeah.
That I'm just trying to open everything up, and I found a really good program, gymnastic strength training, GST it's called, and it's a lot of body weight stuff. Mostly my stuff is pretty simple right now. But I can already feel it making a huge difference in my game. There's positions on top attacking that have always been really hard for me because of my lack of flexibility.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, I'm the most unflexible person in the world, I think. So there's like positions that I think my flexibility has held me back a lot.
Yeah.
So I've really, really been trying to improve that. And, for my first time in my life, like, I'm seeing significant gains in my flexibility, and frankly, it couldn't be more exciting to me.
Well, that's the thing. I know exactly where you're coming from, because it was actually when I started training MMA, I was not very flexible either. My problem. Well, I'll say problem. Sorry, I came from playing rugby and lifting big weights, and I used to squat big, lift big. Used to be a lot bigger, and so my hip flexors were just super, super restricted and tight, and everything was just compact because of weightlifting. Static, up and down movement, nothing too fancy, and I couldn't do a triangle. I shit you not, I could not do a triangle. Literally, imagine that's my foot there. I could get my foot, I couldn't get my foot locked in behind. I could only get to about here. My coach would be pressing down to try and get me to finish. I'm like, I can't, it's killing me, don't. I did yoga, got the hip flexors open. I went to Pilates as well, because after years of doing that martial arts, my hips started turning. My left hip is more forward because of an orthodox stance. If you're southpaw, obviously it'd be right. she's helped adjust my hips, make sure they're a bit more level, so there's more balance. Because she said what happens is if your left hip's more forward, there's an imbalance in the muscle side of the body and everything. And it's incredible the science behind it until you look into it. And I'm sure you'll find that with the strength and conditioning, especially gymnastics. I've done that as well, mate. It's hard gymnastics. Like there's like little 7, 8-year-old kids that could do a lot more than I can. I'm shaking like a shitting dog. I'm like, oh my word, when's this gonna end? But like, it's the muscles that you don't realize you've got. It's incredible though, isn't it? You must have, like you say, you've noticed difference, but you must have thought, I'm pretty strong, dude. And when you went there, you went, I am not a strong dude.
Oh man, this first thing was they had me get into a simple crab walk position, and where I was at compared to where everybody else was at was so staggering to me. I couldn't believe it. I was so embarrassed. I thought I was just gonna come in and rock this, blow the socks off these people. Wow, this guy's incredible. No, I couldn't even get into some of the most basic positions. So I think they had a plan, and then they just ripped up the paper and threw it out. Okay, let's start it where we would with an old man or something. I would say a kid, but like you said, you look over and you see a 12-year-old kid walking on his hands with a weight between his legs or something. You're like, what the heck, man? I can't even do that.
You just sound so. I can open a jaw though. I can open a really stiff jaw. I bet you can't do that. Trying to make yourself feel better in some manner. Yeah. Oh man, it is nuts. But so doing that then, like you said, you've noticed a difference. So when you're striking, for example, have you noticed a bit more freedom in your movement when you're striking? Have you noticed any fluidity? And same with the grappling. Have you noticed a bit more fluidity because your muscle isn't and your body isn't that restricted in the movement that you have?
Yeah, that's one big thing I've been they're focusing on is my spine, opening up my thoracic spine. It's so closed down, and I got my series of stretches I do before training, and man, I just can't believe how I'll open it up and more turn I feel like I can get, and being more efficient, not using as much energy.
Yeah.
I think stand up just has always been a problem for me, because just even hands position up, I was wasting energy. I was tense, you know. I was, and I didn't realize some things even in my shoulders, when I'm up here, I don't even realize that I'm my shoulders are just and wow, I need to relax. Just because I'm relaxed up here doesn't mean the body is relaxed too, So, being able to pinpoint that now, and at least I know, okay, I can start working on this stuff. It may be a year, maybe 2 years, down the road before everything's working completely and relaxed like it should be. But at least I'm starting that, the ball rolling, and, I've done pretty well to this point, so any improvement right now I think will be helpful, and the further it goes, the better I'll do. Hopefully.
It makes a huge difference. Honestly, you're right with the tension. I got coached with boxing, and when I started sparring with a guy who was 2-time Commonwealth Games competitor, he was a heavyweight, so he whooped my ass pretty easily. I reckon he was probably doing about 30%, but he made, and I was thinking, please don't go any higher, but. Yeah, he was saying that, I'm tensed up, everything's so rigid that when I'm throwing, it's so easy to read because I'm so tensed, and everything just tires quicker. And you're right, because your front delts, everyone go away. Stop calling Pat Healy, go away world.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's the front delts, you're right, the front delts just burn out really quick because they're only small muscles, and if you're just there tense for so long, they just burn out, and then you got to think, I've got to use that now for grappling, and there's nothing in them if it goes to the ground. It's crazy how relaxed you have to, it's weird to say it, but you have to be relaxed when you fight. It doesn't sound right in your head, but it does make a huge difference for a fight.
Yeah, and you can see that the most in the amateurs. When you get an amateur, a guy even you train with, and you're like, wow, he's really tough for an amateur. Like, can't wait to see his first fight. And then he gets in the ring, and he just is so tense. And after a minute, they're completely gassed out or extremely tired. And you're like, wow, like it is quite a progression here.
Yeah, it takes time, and that's the thing. At least you're looking at just constantly looking to improve yourself. That's the key. You're not just sitting there happy with what you've got, and that's where what will happen. And here with Titan is we get to see the evolution, and it can keep you on a great path. The thing is, there's nothing stopping you from going and just tearing and clearing out the division in Titan, for yourself. But I believe Desmond Green's going to 155 as well, so there's some awesome matchups there for you as well. That must be quite something to excite you. I know you got your fight coming up now, but the potential, the fact that they're based in Florida, they're signing guys from like ATT and Black Series. Does that kind of excite you as well? And the different names that could be flown up in that division, it must be, there's some names there that must get you quite jacked.
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, and seeing like I've always been I forget which Lima brother they just signed.
Diego Lima.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, man, I was a big fan of his, man. And to see him get signed at 170, the talent's coming, and I think them kind of setting everything up in Miami now or South Florida is the smartest thing they could have done.
Yeah.
I mean, they have such talent down there, Black Zillions, ATT, and then, Jeff and Lex, the promoters are both from there. They already have a bunch of connections.
Yeah.
Like, why not do it in your hometown? Like, let's build something great, Let's just focus on Miami. Let's get Miami behind us. Let's, use UFC Fight Pass, to get it out to the rest of the world. And, this, Titan could really grow. I'm really excited to be a part of it and see what happens in the next 6 months to a year.
Yeah, it's great because, like you say, there's so much growth they can do because they have a place they can call home. They know where they're going to have the cars. They don't have to think about planning for 6 months ahead which city or where they need to go, which commission they have to clear things with. If they're just going to be in the one place, they can kind of almost sit there and go, okay, well, we know where we're going to be for the next, say, like you say, 2 years. Let's start planning what kind of cards we want to start putting on, what dates, what matchups we would like to have, and they can just start getting ahead of themselves. And it's a good idea, it's a good thing. And for a fighter as well, the regular chances of fighting are going to come about, so you get consistency in the cage, you get consistent ring time. You're not sitting on the sidelines waiting for a potential card to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's gonna be it's a good thing. It's a smart move by them. I think the only really way you can grow a promotion is regionally first.
Yeah,
you need to focus on whatever region you're in. Keep it within a vicinity, and that's how things get built. And, who knows where that could lead.
Exactly, man. Look, you're going obviously soon to the ranch. Be careful if you do any skydiving or any crazy shit. Alright? Make sure
that's coming too,
Can't promise anything, I'm sure, but don't get bitten by any rattlesnakes and stuff like that. Make sure you're fit for the 10th and then do all that crazy shit after. But look, I'm sure you'll have a great time, and you've been there before. You have a great time there, man. Finish off your fight camp, have an awesome time at Titan at the 10th, mate. I'm gutted I can't watch it. But I could probably watch the weigh-ins, and that's about as exciting as it gets for me. So I get to watch you all in your underwear. That's my highlight. But yeah, I'll definitely tune in. Oh God, I get to watch it like probably 2 weeks after it's been on. But you know what? I can't do nothing about it. I won't have access to the fight, which is a bit frustrating, but oh well. I'll be able to somehow find the results. But man, look, thanks for giving me some of your time, Pat. I'm sure you're gonna have probably that's for me penciled down as fighting night because you've got two great experienced guys who know how to fight, and the two of you both don't back down, like you said. You both are gonna bring it, man. Before I let you go, Pat, how do people jump on your social media? Give you a follow. Obviously, you've got any sponsors. Definitely give them a shout out, and of course, finally, Gracie Baja, give that place a shout out. The guys that you're training with there. Obviously, you got new faces, I'm sure. You got old faces from Rose City. just spit it all out there, Pat.
Yeah, social media and stuff is Bam Bam Healy. I try to stay at least relatively active on there. It's a nice ebb and flow, either get a lot or a little. But, I try to stay consistent. I'm trying more and more. So, yeah, that's the best way, and appreciate all my coaches at Gracie Barra. And, I hope you all tune in at least. If you can check it out live, that'll be the way to do it. But if you can't, check it out on Fight Pass because, like you said, it will be fight of the night.
Yeah, it will, man. Right, thanks again, Pat. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, sir.
Hey, man. It was always a good time.